Imagine ruling an empire for 94 years, longer than any monarch in recorded history. Imagine ascending to the throne as a 6-year-old child and watching generations of your subjects live and die while you remain in power. Now imagine that your excessive indulgence, bizarre practices, and moral decay became so extreme that they brought down one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever known. This is the story of Pepi II, the boy king who became Egypt's longest reigning pharaoh and possibly its most perverted ruler. His reign began with promise and ended with the complete collapse of the Old Kingdom. Our story begins in 2278 BCE, in the golden age of ancient Egypt's Old Kingdom. The pyramids of Giza already stood as testaments to Egyptian power. Egypt was the superpower of the ancient world, unchallenged and seemingly eternal. Into this world, a boy named Pepi was born into the royal family of the 6th dynasty. When Pepi II ascended to the throne, he was merely 6 years old. His father, Pepi I, had died, and his older brother Merenre I ruled only briefly before dying under mysterious circumstances. Suddenly, a small child sat on the most powerful throne in the world. In the early years, Egypt did not suffer from having a child pharaoh. His mother served as regent while the young Pepi learned his role. Egypt's sophisticated bureaucracy ran smoothly without requiring much from its divine figurehead. But as Pepi grew from child to young man, something changed. Having known nothing but absolute power from his earliest memories, having been worshipped as a living god since childhood, Pepi II developed a sense of entitlement that knew no bounds. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of how Pepi II would have naked servants, their bodies covered in honey, stand around him to attract flies away from his divine person. This was not about comfort. This was about demonstrating that human beings were nothing more than tools for his convenience. Men and women stood for hours, covered in sticky sweetness, enduring the torment of insects, all so that the pharaoh might be slightly more comfortable. But this was only the beginning of behaviors that would scandalize the kingdom. As Pepi II aged and his power became more absolute, his behavior became more extreme. Historical texts refer to his nocturnal excursions, where the pharaoh would secretly leave his palace to engage in activities that scandalized even ancient Egypt. He reportedly frequented the homes of his military commanders for liaisons that violated every protocol of royal dignity. These were not casual indiscretions, but systematic patterns of behavior that undermined the very foundation of pharaonic authority. One account stands out. Pepi II developed a fascination with one of his generals, a man named Sasane. The pharaoh would disguise himself and sneak out at night to visit this general's home. The relationship became the subject of scandal throughout the kingdom. In a society where the pharaoh was considered a living god, the bridge between the mortal and divine realms, such behavior was not merely scandalous, but cosmically dangerous. The Egyptians believed that Ma'at, the principle of cosmic order and justice, required proper behavior from everyone, especially from the pharaoh. The king's role was to maintain Ma'at through correct ritual action and moral behavior. When the pharaoh violated Ma'at, the entire cosmic order was threatened. The Nile might not flood. Chaos might creep into the ordered world. Pepi II's behavior was not just morally questionable. In Egyptian thinking, it was cosmically catastrophic. As decades rolled by, the problems multiplied. The pharaoh, having known power since childhood, had never learned discipline or wisdom. He made capricious decisions, elevated favorites based on personal attraction rather than competence, and increasingly neglected the duties of kingship in favor of personal pleasure. The palace became a place of indulgence rather than governance. The provincial governors, called nomarchs, began to notice that central authority was weakening. These governors started treating their positions as hereditary. They stopped seeking approval from the increasingly ineffectual pharaoh. They built their own tombs in their provinces, rather than near the royal pyramid, a clear sign that their loyalty was shifting from the divine king to their own local power bases. Pepi II was too old, too set in his ways, and too focused on personal pleasures to respond effectively. The administrative reforms that might have strengthened royal authority never came. The building projects that would have demonstrated royal vitality were not initiated. Instead, the pharaoh retreated further into a world of sensual indulgence. The economic situation deteriorated as well. As central authority weakened, the delicate balance that sustained Old Kingdom prosperity broke down. Trade routes became less secure. Irrigation projects were not maintained. Tax collection became irregular. Religious authority also suffered. How could the people maintain faith in a pharaoh whose personal behavior violated every principle of Ma'at? The crisis was not just political or economic, but spiritual. Perhaps most devastating was the sheer length of his reign, 94 years. Officials who had sworn loyalty to Pepi II as young men died of old age, and their sons died of old age, and their grandsons grew old, all while the same pharaoh sat on the throne. There was no renewal, no fresh start. Egypt was trapped in the grip of a ruler who had ceased to be effective, but who, through the simple fact of biological survival, could not be replaced. When Pepi II finally died around 2184 BCE, he left behind a kingdom in crisis. What followed was predictable and terrible. Weak pharaohs rapidly succeeded one another, none commanding real authority. The provincial governors, having tasted independence during Pepi II's long decline, refused to submit to central authority. Egypt fractured into competing power centers. The irrigation systems fell into disrepair. Famine followed. Social order collapsed. This period, known as the First Intermediate Period, saw Egypt descend into chaos for over a century. Tomb robberies became common as people struggled to survive. Local warlords fought for control. The great monuments of the Old Kingdom fell into neglect. The civilization that had built the pyramids nearly destroyed itself. Later Egyptian historians looked back on Pepi II's reign with awe and horror. Yes, he had ruled longer than any other pharaoh, but at what cost? His personal excesses and failure to maintain Ma'at had directly led to the collapse of the Old Kingdom. The story of Pepi II became a cautionary tale. When later pharaohs wanted to warn against moral decay and negligent rule, they pointed to Pepi II. There is a broader lesson here that transcends ancient Egypt. Pepi II's story illustrates the dangers of unchecked power, especially when granted early and maintained without accountability. A 6-year-old given absolute authority, worshipped as a god with no one able to say no to him, what chance did he have to develop wisdom or restraint? His perversions were not just personal failings, but the predictable results of a system that placed one human being above all others and insisted that his whims were divine commands. The story also reveals the fragility of even the most stable civilizations. The Old Kingdom had stood for centuries, surviving wars and famines. But it could not survive 9 decades of neglectful, self-indulgent rule. When leadership becomes a hollow ritual rather than an active force for order and prosperity, even the most sophisticated society can unravel with shocking speed. Modern archaeology continues to uncover new details about Pepi II's reign. His pyramid complex at Saqqara reveals both the ambition of his early reign and the declining quality of workmanship as his rule stretched on. Inscriptions from provincial tombs show the gradual assertion of local independence. Each new discovery adds detail to our understanding of how one man's personal failings helped bring down a civilization. Today, when we look at the ruins of ancient Egypt, we are looking at the legacy of many pharaohs, but perhaps none cast a longer shadow than Pepi II. His 94-year reign stands as both a record of longevity and a warning about the corruption that comes with unchecked power, the dangers of treating human beings as objects for personal gratification, and the catastrophic consequences when leaders prioritize personal pleasure over public duty. If this deep dive into ancient history fascinated you, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more stories about the rise and fall of great civilizations. Hit that like button if you found this exploration of one of history's most controversial rulers enlightening. Share this video with anyone interested in ancient Egypt, leadership, or the lessons history teaches us. And drop a comment below. What other ancient rulers do you think changed the course of history through their personal choices? Thanks for watching. And remember, those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it.